Hello everybody, I'm Ernest. We're here in Goliad, Texas in downtown area. Right here by the courthouse. This is a quaint little Texas town with a typical courthouse and town square built all around here. William has joined me today on this morning ride on a Saturday. We're riding our adventure bikes because we're feeling adventurous. Right, William?
Very adventurous.
Very adventurous, he says. So we're gonna go walk around here and see what's going on here, but I'm looking for a hanging tree. There's supposedly a hanging tree here, and let's look, and then we might go find something to eat around here too. So here's a little plaque history here that's pretty interesting. There was a Goliad tornado of 1902, a cyclone considered one of the two most disastrous in Texas history, struck Goliad on Sunday, May the 18th, 1902. The twister touched down on the south side of the San Antonio River at 3:35 p.m., sounding like a heavily loaded freight train. The storm ripped a mile-long, half-mile-wide path across the northwest section of town, destroying over 100 homes and leaving an official death toll of 114. At least 50 members of a Black Methodist church died when the sanctuary was razed. After the disaster, the Goliad courthouse served as a temporary hospital and morgue. I love these old Texas towns. These are very close to where I grew up. I grew up about 30 miles from here, and I used to come to dances down out here in Goliad back in the day when kids didn't have internet, and we would meet on Saturdays and go dancing. What's this? Global war. Because of the sons of Goliad gave their lives in World War II, the freedom might live. Citizens erected this memorial and dedication it to their underlining hopes and everlasting memories. This is a big, bigger than average courthouse. From Texas has some nice courthouse, and this is a nice one here, erected in, I guess, 1894. I'm still looking for the hanging tree. I think this is the hanging tree. It looks familiar to me. Okay, I found it. Here's a plaque. The hanging tree, site of court sessions at various times from 1846 to 1870. Capital sentence called for by the courts were carried out immediately by means of a rope and convenient limb. Just imagine you get convicted of something and you're just taken lead right out of the courtroom and just hung right then and there. Now, there was also illegal hangings here too, and I remember this one. Hangings called out for by the regular courts occurred here during the 1857 Cart War, a series of attacks made by Texas freighters against Mexican drivers along the Goliad San Antonio Road. About 70 men were killed, some of them on this tree, before the war was halted by Texas Rangers. Okay, so let me tell you what that's about, from what I can remember and what I've been told. So these Mexicans were use mules and carts to carry goods, I think from Galveston up to here, and this was cutting into the business of the white settlers. And the white settlers got mad, and so they started killing them. And so they would just catch these, I don't know if they were Mexican citizens or if they were just Texans that were Latinos. Most of them were shot, but actually some were taken to this tree and just hung up on this tree. That's a nice mirror over there. Hey William, can you imagine going to court and being...
Hold on, I'm imagining.
Yeah, okay, you're in court now, and then you're found to be guilty of, let's say, a murder or whatever was cause for hanging, and just let out no appeal, no nothing. You just come out to the tree and you swing. I don't know how many people died here, but I remember seeing this tree, and this was known as a hanging tree. It's, I don't know how many years, probably 300, 400 years old tree.
I want to hear you read.
All right, we found another little plaque. Santa Ana surrender ratified. General Vicente Felicilo. Is that right, William?
Filasola.
Filisola. William's a real Mexican. I'm part-time. Second in command of Mexican armies in Texas War for Independence, fled from area of his nation's defeat at San Jacinto. That's where it was won. Our independence were won in San Jacinto, April 21st, 1836. Filasolas, I can't pronounce it. Aim was to go back to Mexico with his army. After he passed through Goliad, he was overtaken at Mujadero Creek by Texan Army carriers. Colonel Ben Fort Smith and Captain Henry Teal signed the ratification of peace at Mujadero at May 26, 1836, where General Felicilo,
It's almost 200 years ago, dude.
General Eugene Tosi, Colonel Augustine. You can read the rest. Anyway, so this guy thought he could get away after they were already defeated at San Jacinto by Santa Ana already had surrendered there, and this was like he surrendered again. I guess he didn't know about what had happened, or I'm not really sure if he knew that they already had surrendered or what, but anyway, that happened here. Also, Goliad was a military hub back in those days when it was Mexico, when it was Spain, and also when later on when it became Texas, and now we're the United States. Here's another plaque. In memory of men who died serving their country, World War I. So this is World War I, the death here. All these wars, all the wars now seem pretty useless compared to the world wars back then. You were fighting for your country to not be dominated. Now it's just, there's a lot of politics involved and terrorism. There's all kinds of different things now. Regulators of Goliad County. When the Civil War ended in April 1886, many Texans returned to find their farms and ranches neglected, their cattle running wild and unbranded. The federal troops sent to occupy Texas in June 1986 could not control the widespread cattle thieving and general lawlessness of the Reconstruction period. So this is after the Civil War. Pretty slow morning here, and that looks like a bank and they're restoring it. Very nice. One more plaque and then I guess we'll go. Don Rafaela Antonio Machelula. I can't even pronounce that. Early Goliad leaders, Rafael Antonio Machelula. Is that right, William?
No, Manchola.
Manchola. Like I said, I got to consult with a real Mexican. In 1882, he arrived in La Bahia. La Bahia is where the fort is at. And 2 years later, he wedded Maria de la Sus de Leon, daughter of Imperial Martin de Leon, and Patricia Garza served as attorney and business agents, one of the region's principal advocate for its civilians. He became commander of the Presidio of Nuestra Senora de Letro. I'm butchering this thing. And in 1832 became the state deputy in the Cholula and Texas legislation. He also served as, what does that mean, William?
Alcalde, mayor.
Mayor, alcalde. That's. If you're gonna write in Spanish, just make it in Spanish. Don't do this Tex-Mex thing. It's kind of confusing for us white folks. William's still riding his 2017 Triumph Tiger. I think he's going to trade it in on some of Gold Wing. That's the conspiracy that he's trying to tell me. And I'm still riding on the faithful KTM 1290 Super Adventure. Well, that's a little short video of Goliad, Texas, a little quaint little town out here where I grew up. Just thought I'd show it to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.